Hi folks, today we're going to be marbling paper using shaving cream. To do this activity, first we're going to need a tray, something that you can use to keep the mess in. I've used a cardboard box before. This is a glass tray. You could even do it on a piece of paper, just something to protect your table. We're also going to need shaving cream. We're going to need something to scrape and flatten the shaving cream. So I've got this scraper, but again, I've also used just a piece of cardboard and that works just fine. We're going to need paints. I've watered these paints down so that they drip and move around the paper a lot easier. We're going to need something to draw with. I'm going to use the end of this paintbrush, but you could also use a pencil. You could even use a stick, just something that you can use to draw lines through the shaving cream. And finally, we're going to need some paper. So once you have your supplies ready, let's give it a try. Let's begin. We're going to spray some of the shaving cream into our container. You can see I'm using a glass container. I've used cardboard boxes before. Sometimes I even just do it right on the table if I know that I can clean the table up really quickly. This isn't terribly messy, but it's a lot easier to clean up if you have a container to work within. So I'm going to put a layer of shaving cream. Then I'm going to use a scraper to smooth it out. Again, I've used lots of tools for this. I don't always have a scraper with me. I've used screen printing scrapers. I've even used just pieces of cardboard. Something flat that's strong enough to push the foam flat. So not a piece of paper, but cardboard works. All right, once I have it relatively flat, I'm going to leave that there. Next is the colors. So I just use acrylic paint. I like to water it down so that it moves around the foam a little bit better and so that I can drip it a little. And we don't want to use too much of this paint, so I just put drips around. The paints are liquid. They will dissolve the shaving cream a little bit, so if I use too much, it's going to get really sloppy. Next we'll add a new color. And you can see how the paint is just sitting right on top of the shaving cream, which is what makes this work, because then when I put the paper on top, the paper is just going to instantly absorb the colors. Next, we are going to swirl the colors around. And when I say swirl, I'm not necessarily trying to mix the colors together. I'm just trying to drag the colors around so it fills the space. Now, I could try to draw a picture in here or put some kind of design, but usually I go just random lines. I think it looks cool that way. That gives that marbled look. But I have seen people try to write letters in there and draw pictures in there. Sometimes it works, sometimes not so much. All right, so you can see that I still see the pink, I still see the blue. It's mixed together a little bit, but not too much. So I'm going to set this over here in the name of not making a mess. And now it's time to lay the paper on. So I have my paper. I'm just going to set it on top. Now I don't want to push the paper all the way in there. Actually, the paper is probably already colored. It absorbs the colors almost instantly. But what I'm doing is making sure that the corners of the paper are touching the colors as well. And sometimes there are air bubbles in the middle, so I want to rub the middle just to make sure that every bit of the paper gets color. All right, and then we are going to just peel this up. You can't see the design yet. We'll see that as soon as we scrape off the shaving cream. But this is a great time because we already have the setup. This isn't the kind of thing that you do just once and then clean everything up. While we're here, we could make more and more. We could make thank you cards. We could print a lot of these, one right after the other, using the same materials. So if you have a lot of paper, I would do it right now. Drip some more paint on, make another one. Drip some more paint on, swirl it around, make another one. So now let's scrape this off. Hold the paper down, and I'm going to use another scraper. Remember, it could just be a piece of hard cardboard. And I'm going to pull all of the shaving cream off. And voila, there's our design. You can see that the colors dragged a little, It's usually best to try to get all the shaving cream off in one clean wipe. When you have to go back, sometimes you accidentally put colors back onto the paper and then it's, makes little marks. But it still looks really cool. I actually like that a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and try to make a few more while I've got all these supplies out. Okay, so while we're set up, let's try a few things. So I'm gonna wipe this smooth. You don't always have to wipe it smooth. You could probably use the same back design from before as a background, but you can always wipe it smooth whenever you need to. And this color is actually gonna sort of be a little bit of the background color, and whatever I add next will be on top of that, which that's a really nice color to use anyway. So let's add a new color. We do have to think about the colors we're using because they are going to interact with the other colors that are there. So if you're making a lot of these, you sort of have to pick a color scheme that you think is going to work well together so that it doesn't end up turning brown or gray in the end. And let's try a couple things. Maybe we'll make a design this time. Let's just go completely up and down, vertical. And then we'll go completely horizontal. All right, let's see how that turns out. Lay it flat, make sure the entire piece of paper touches the colors. Peel it up. And then scrape it off. Remember, we're going to try to scrape it all off in one clean pass. So I'm going to go this way, turn, and go that way. So you can see this created more of a pattern. What I like about this pattern is because we did it with this printing method, there are still elements that are more spontaneous. You can see the pattern's really clear here, but there are light spaces here where the background shows through. I like that spontaneity in things. Let's do another one. What if I put some blue in here and some green in here? Blue and green are next to each other on the color wheel. They should go together really well. Let's go diagonal this time. One thing we want to make sure of is that we get the colors all the way to the edges. It's like right here, there's nothing here. I might want to drag the colors into that corner just to make sure. All right, that's phase one. We'll use the pink again for phase two. But we're going to try something different. We're not going to swirl the phase two color so much. We're going to let it stay a little bit stronger so they'll look kind of like polka dots. But I also want to try, what if we try to draw a picture in here? Will it show up? So there's a circle. There's a circle. There's a circle. And there's a smile. I do believe that's going to work. That makes me want to add a few extra lines out here. Maybe like a sunshine. Let's see how that prints. Lay the paper right on the picture. Make sure that the corners of the paper get color. And then we peel it up. Remember, don't worry about getting your hands dirty. And let's scrape it off and see if it worked. So I'm going to wipe this off. We're going to try to go down this way, turn and go down that way. That looks really interesting. So we can definitely see that smiley face there. So it is possible to draw pictures on your paper. I've never tried that before. And I think that looks really cool. I'm going to go ahead and I can see a little shaving cream here. I'm going to wipe that off with my finger. And we're going to let this one dry. Look at that. Pretty cool. So here are the 3 prints we made. You can see there's lots of different techniques you can use. And now we know we can draw on it as well. We can add different layers of colors. We can add patterns, or it could be completely random, and they always turn out pretty okay. Again, think about your colors, because if you use colors that are going to make brown or gray, it might not look as colorful and nice as you hoped. But also remember, you can make a lot of these in a short amount of time. Maybe you could make, like we said earlier, thank you cards or holiday cards that you can give to your friends and loved ones. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this activity, and I will see you next time. Adios.